Welcome to the show, folks. Hey, so glad you're here with us. Man, Thanksgiving, if you're in the U.S. or coming to the U.S., just around the corner. Ain't that wild? Unbelievable. So I'm here with a special guest and hounds, amazing guys. David Menansky, all right, Menansky. I always mess it up because I'm not a costume, folks. And Curtis Rivers, man. So this is going to be fun. If you don't know already, we want to make things that are meaningful, fresh, get to know people, and give you holiday tips that actually matter, right? Things that you might not have thought about, or you did think about, and you just haven't got around to it. So I can't think of two better experts in the field, people who not just wrote about this academically, but men who lived it and lived it for decades, right? So folks, this is your show. Have fun, comment, network with each other. No pitch slapping with a P, right? Goes without saying. But have fun. This is the holiday season. We're going to bring value. You get to know two major players with big hearts that are doing big things. And that's how we do it in the Hounds, right? So, well, look, they're already here. Usually nobody watched the first 2 minutes. I always joke about it, but who we got? Let's shout them out. Nathan, okay, Nathan Mitchell. This guy, all right, he just left corporate 4 months ago. He's doing stuff that took me 3 years to do. You heard that right. So I just got on his awesome TV network. I was honored. Nathan, thank you. He's got a rock star lineup, and I got to lead the charge, man. I'm seriously, you know how Dr. Phil used to, I'm just a good old boy from Texas. That's how I feel every day until Oprah finds you. Yeah. So thank you, my friend, and can't wait to work together. So I met him through Colleen Stubbs.
Yeah.
See, if I send him a DM, I'd got pepper sprayed over Zoom, folks. Understand that. Introductions, heart, we're making it happen. All right. And then speaking of that, Amy Long, newer hound, fits right in. Love having her here. She's a great encourager, and she just wants to do it all. So thank you, Amy. So good to see you. Yolanda, I cry if you don't show up. So thank you very much. Yolanda always comes. And if she doesn't, I go out there and send the police and try to find out where she's at. So good to see you. And Mr. Radio Voice, Royce Blake. He come in there and apologize. He's like, y'all missed me. Of course we missed you, Royce. But we know that you're building up your offerings and the things that you do in the podcast world. People need it, brother. So without further ado, how about we roll this intro and we just start talking, real talking. And audience, don't be shy. Don't be shy. We're going to talk real. We're going to talk about some uncomfortable things. But at the end of the day, it's about you doing better, feeling good, enjoying the holidays. And forgive me, David, having your cake and eating it too, right? No, carrot cake. Maybe he'll let us slide with carrot cake. I don't know. He's pretty much a stickler. So let's roll this show, man. Let's get going.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right. I'm going to put a question in the comments. Unless LinkedIn's glitching a little bit, I will put your comments up, folks, and have fun. Have fun, network, get to know people. Birds of a feather flock together, dadgummit. And man, I'm just blessed. It's an honor to be here. And Curtis, you're a trooper. You're in the UK. You're in England. All right. You're not feeling well, to say the least. And it's midnight. So thank you for being here, dude. You love people. You give a round of applause to Curtis Rivers.
You're very
Yay.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't need a soundboard. I am one. So let's see. I want to start off before we get into all this holiday discussion. It's going to be phenomenal. And also, gentlemen, thank you. All the folks listening right now, if you're watching live, if you're on the repeat, these guys and so many hounds and friends of the hounds, we're putting together the Hounds Holiday Harmony Tips. So you'll see across LinkedIn, so many people posting each other's stuff, right? Cross promoting, getting to see new people, right? Birds of a feather flock together. So Curtis might be on David's and David might be on Curtis, right? Because people need one and the other. They go together, right? Physical health, mental well-being, PB and J in the same jar, right? So be on the lookout for that. Engage with these folks and share it because people struggle with this, and we think sometimes we're alone. like, oh, well, I don't want to talk about that. My family dysfunction or whatever it is, or, I didn't make my goal this year. And let me tell you, spoiler alert, everybody else is too. Many people are or have. They're just better at hiding it than you are. Okay. That freed me up forever. Ain't that right, guys? Everybody struggles with something. So don't let it fool you. All right. And I see you, Tim. Timothy Ho, good to see you. William Tan and Regina. Wow, good to see you too, my friend. All right, so let's get started because you guys have amazing stories. There's a lot of folks. I'm not knocking anyone. Don't send me hate mail. I won't read it anyway. All right, but you guys have been there and done that. So please take a few minutes to tell us about your story before we get into the good combo. Because you rebuilt your lives from the inside out, and you did this at later years. And a lot of folks out there are feeling this. It just takes a lot of courage and a little bit of. It's a little scary, right? So, David, we'll start with you, man. Take us back to the moment the doctor gave you that wake up call. What was going through your mind when you heard 95% chance of fatal heart attack, and he said you better find someone else?
I was scared.
Yeah,
That was my
I
reaction.
imagine.
Like, oh boy, I better do something because he had been after me for 8 years to lose the weight. And if I did lose weight on a diet, I gained it all back, sometimes more. I was frustrated. I was embarrassed. And this time was different. So I made the mental shift, changed my lifestyle. I was 61 at the time. I shed 50 pounds. More importantly, I've kept it off. And, you know, I'm a former divorce lawyer, and you gain 5 pounds a year doesn't seem like a lot. After 10 years, that's 50 pounds. And that's what happened to me. Stopped exercising, started eating fast foods, convenient foods, and, family responsibilities, work obligations. And before you know it, you're in my position. I was fortunate. I avoided the heart attack. I have a lot of friends and colleagues that weren't so lucky. And so, yeah. And then at age 67, I hiked up Mount Kilimanjaro. So I'm really proud of
Wow.
that. And I tell,
67.
yeah. So I
I'm
tell people,
44 and I couldn't even make it to the entry line to go up the mountain, man. That's bad. Curtis probably can. He's still got the stunt man in him, but we'll get to him in a minute.
Curtis would
Keep going.
probably carry you up.
You got that right. He'd probably fly across something. Yeah. Don't flee, folks. You got to hear his story. So I find that impressive. You went from, and this is older age. This is not like 30 and obese. This is older age when people go, well, it's too late. And you proved otherwise.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people. It's a mental attitude, and I have a little sign on my desk that says, "Attitude is everything." The older I get, the healthier I become. The healthier I become, the more motivated I am to be healthier. And my philosophy is I'm growing younger as I get older.
You really are. I mean, you didn't tell people. I don't know if I should do that. I should have asked him beforehand, Curtis, but I would love to play the guessing game. I don't think anybody in this audience is crazy enough to do it, but you couldn't guess his age. Even the guys at the fairgrounds who guess your age, when you pay them $1, this guy, they would ban him from that. They're like, no, dude, nobody can guess your age. Because my family, I'm not knocking it, but a lot of my family, I said we age like milk, but even if you don't have the genetic disposition, anybody can be healthy. And here's what I loved about you. It's so easy, even the redneck connector to do it. Oh, where's that picture at? Oh, I can't find it. Maybe I'll find it when we go to Curtis. But he said, "Can I do that?" I went, yeah, true. Like, because I hate programs. I hate being told what to do. People know me. And but this was so simple. It's like you went back in time and said, "Hey, how about we just pull out the basics? Drink water, right? Don't overeat. Don't indulge." And we'll get into the detail. But here's what guys, I wanted him to share the story because a lot of these people, there's plenty of programs. Some of them are good, but they have a 90% fail rate. Or you do all that work, you get healthy, and then it deteriorates. And now you're getting 50 pounds back, right? And this one here has been longevity. We've had hounds do this who are staying healthy. And even if you fall off, you account for the mental game of getting back on. And I failed probably what? Did you keep count? I failed maybe 6 times off the gate.
It doesn't matter. The thing is, you kept pursuing it and you got better each time. And that's the whole idea, is that you don't give up, you don't stop. There's a lot of grace involved for everybody. You don't have to be perfect, just be consistent.
Well, and that's the thing. I was like, most people quit because they're guilty or, they're shamed or, whatever. There's millions of reasons. But you just said a couple Yoda things and told me to readjust, and I did it. And I come back a little bit better, but still not on par. But your program accounts for that. It's the shoot. We all know not to overeat. We all know not to do stuff. So the question is, why do we do it? And you're really good at that. But that takes us into Curtis, right? Because the mental game. It don't matter how good the program is, boy. If you're not feeling it here and here, it's an uphill battle. So both of you gentlemen excel in that. So Curtis, welcome to the show. Midnight, man, you are a trooper, not feeling good, but you love people, and man, thank you for being here. So you've had the success, the accolades, Guinness World Record holder. I mean, you've had a life that most of us could dream about, right? But inside, you said that things fell apart a little bit. So, what was the moment that you realized something had to change? And you can give us the backstory because you grew up from humble means. It wasn't like you had advantages, but then you had this dream life, and then things changed. Tell us about that, man.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I know it's midnight here, but it's a pleasure, and I feel fine. It's all good. Positive mental attitude and everything.
Practice what he preaches.
I'll mute my mic. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, by the time I realized something was amiss, I'd already made millions and achieved lots of my bucket list. I wanted to become a stuntman by age 25, break a world record by the time I was 30, write a book by the time I was 40, and be a millionaire before 45. It was like very specific. I've got these things written down, as well as traveling. I wanted to see the Grand Canyon and New York at Christmas and all these things. And I'd achieved all of them by the time I was 40. And by the time I'd got to that age, of course, I was a different person than the person who wrote that list when, to be honest, as a child. I was 11 when I first started writing away to TV stations to find out how do you become a stuntman. And I've got letters from the Actors Union when I was 11 telling me what I'd need to do, that I'd have to become a child actor and take up martial arts. And I think it was written very kindly, but in a way to say, yeah, dream on, come back when you're older. This is what you'll have to do, But even though I was a geeky kid, and probably because I was a little bit geeky on the spectrum and didn't think too much into it, I actually just started training. So I took up amateur dramatics, even though I was shy, and started to do martial arts. Took up boxing while I was at school. I was skydiving by the age of 16 and got my black belt at 18, and on it went like that. And I just kept doing that. Cut forward again to that time where I've already been in movies and I've broken world records and I've made all of the money and I had the house and the car and everything. I was actually genuinely really, really miserable. And it seems like, just to say it like that, for those who haven't quite completed their bucket list yet, it sounds ungrateful. But what had happened was it wasn't really me. Like the life I'd created, the stunt world was this macho, misogynistic kind of alpha male environment. And that wasn't really me. So I had to put a bit of an act on, pretend to be the tough guy, flex in front of the other guys, Yep. And it wasn't me. So the longer and longer that had to be maintained, the more and more difficult it got. And it went off on a tangent that the real me was at home into meditation, a kind, caring, loving person. And I was into new age things, and I was reading books, and I'd be more akin to get up in the morning, drink green tea, light some candles, and meditate for 45 minutes. Whereas years before, I'd put a backpack on and go out and do a 10-mile run. So I'd just become a different person. And what had happened, the realization that you asked about, was being on set miserable. I'd started to do motivational speaking, and that made me feel good. I'd written my first book, and that got well received. When I was doing those things and making a difference, that felt so like on point. It made my heart sing. And then I was kind of selling out because it paid really well, the stunt job. Where else could you earn 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 a day?
Especially when you grow up poor. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Nobody will go back to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, you raise a valid point, because not long before that, I'd struggled for before I made the millions, if you like, I had a scarcity mindset. So even though I'd achieved, I hadn't done that by the time I'd become a stuntman, been in a James Bond film, ticking all these boxes, and even broken world records. I had the mindset right in everything except money. And unbeknown to me at the time, I had a scarcity mindset, which I luckily managed to change to an abundance mindset, and then everything fell into place. So I achieved all the outward worldly things. And when you live for so long, not on purpose and putting an act on, it was just hollow. And it led to me feeling depression. And the very quick version is that I spiraled into some serious, as low as you can go, depression. I ended up moving away to try and heal. I ended up getting divorced, and everything collapsed around me. I can smile now. And I went bankrupt. And this isn't that long ago, actually. I don't shout this on the rooftops, but I've just realized that I don't put a time frame oftentimes. This wasn't 30 years ago. This is like 8 years ago that I was bankrupt. Wow. So I started from this place that you would think, gosh, poor guy, you know, but it was the best thing and the best starting point that I ever experienced outside of all the millions and the films and the accolades and the awards. You know, it was a complete life reset because I had the knowledge to rebuild that I didn't have all those years ago. A fresh start, to start again with added knowledge. When I was away in India, the final piece of the puzzle fell into place to do with my meditation, my mindfulness. And so when I put these two things together, the mindset and the heart set and the way to take aligned action, I had to kind of eat my own words, and you know, the proof of the pudding was in the eating. I applied all of my own techniques that I'd written about years before and came back, and within a very short space of time had met the love of my life. I'm very happily married now. I've been married for 6 years. I've made the millions back. And more importantly, I live every day in alignment. Genuine, it sounds corny, but I do what I love to do every day. I get well paid for it, and it's a joy to get out of bed and seize the day. And most days are brilliant, even when you're full of cold and it's gone midnight.
Yeah, bingo, amen. And I'm not look. I'm gonna do don't leave, folks. Little PBS special, if you know what I mean. Thank you for sharing that, because everybody, a lot of people, and especially, I love seeing us in our 40s, 50s, and up. We feel like, you know, all the things that we're ashamed of, and we're guilty. We hide it. We don't want to tell people, and that you guys are proving it, and I'm doing it now. Finally, 44, right? And that's why people like us. That's why we're believable. You can't fake it, right? Like, you lived the life, you've been there, you got it all. You had nothing, you got it all, you lost it, you built it back, right? We don't watch movies about people who just had silver spoons and nothing happened. That would be a stupid movie, right? It wouldn't be entertaining at all. But this is why I love you guys. You went through this. And if anything else, not just what you can help them do, but just your story inspires people. And then when I realized I wasn't alone, right? Like, you know, I had to go through stuff. Oh my God, why would I go through that? You know, that was horrible. I wouldn't have what I have today. I wouldn't be around you folks today. Wouldn't be making the impact we make together today had it not been for that. So it's not when life throws you dog poo, learn how to turn that shit into fertilizer. That's what I'm trying to say in eloquent speech. So let's go with this one, because I have to know, and I know folks want to know before we move in. What's both of you, and we'll start with you, David. What's one misconception people have about health and mindset that keeps them stuck longer than they need to be?
People believe that they need to exercise to lose weight. And that is the biggest myth and misconception out there. 90 to 95% of our weight issues are based on what we put into our mouth, either through food or beverages. And exercise is extremely important for overall health and fitness. However, it's not that important for losing weight. When I went on my weight loss journey, I wasn't doing any exercise because I was on a restricted calorie intake. And so you have to be careful. When you shed the weight, then it becomes easier to become more physically active. And again, New Year's is coming up, and people make their New Year's resolution to go to the gym, get fit. And after 3 weeks, they get on the scale and they haven't dropped any weight. They get discouraged and disappointed. What's happening is they're changing their body composition, so they're building muscle and losing the fat. The problem is muscle and fat weigh the exact same amount. 5 pounds is 5 pounds. The difference is their clothes are probably fitting looser. They're having more energy. And so you can't go by the scale all the time.
Well, I mean, also muscle weighs more than fat, right? Like,
No,
so,
it's the same. 5 pounds is 5 pounds.
oh, does it
Fat,
really?
yeah, fat just takes up more room than muscle. Muscle's denser. So again, 5 pounds of fat weighs the same as 5 pounds of muscle. The difference is there's a lot more fat and a lot less muscle.
You're always talking about weight loss. I need weight gain. That's what I'm working on now, but healthy, because you can gain weight and really go downhill. Uh, but I don't want to gain like a ton of weight. I just want my head and my body to match. That's
You
before
just want,
COVID. Yeah,
yeah,
a
you just want more muscle.
little
That's all.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want, and honestly, at this point, just to feel good, just because I can. It was just a motivator, you know. I mean, I joke about it. I was like, well, look, I got wife and kids. I mean, I'm not trying to impress nobody, but there is a mind body, right? I woke up one day and looked in the mirror and said, I don't look like I feel. That's a problem, right? That, and I know it may sound corny too, but listen, this is going to be a lot of corn in here. If you don't like corn, man, you better get out. But there's substance, right? And we're just talking real. And if folks in the comments answer the question, if you like, pop in, share your stories. This is your time. Appreciate you being here because it's the holidays, man. People are, and it's late, especially if you're Curtis. It's late. So, Curtis, what is the same question? What's the main or one misconception people have about health and mindset that keeps them stuck longer than they need to be?
I'd say the belief that it's too ingrained, that I'm too old to change, or I've been doing it that way for so long. It's too late to change, or people like us, or there's always an excuse, or it's just a limiting belief. It's not necessarily their fault if we're not pointing the finger of blame, but it is just a belief, and it ties in really well, actually, as David will agree with. It starts with the mindset. I spent 30 years as a stuntman, modifying my weight very quickly. Wasn't always the healthiest way, because sometimes between taking on the role, you'd have to drop or gain weight quite quickly. So it was quite radical and not the healthiest way. And that's why it didn't stay off or stay on, depending on what we were doing. But in the same way, the mindset's absolutely, that's where it all begins. And, these stories we tell ourselves, and that's just one of them, that it's too old. I've been doing it this way. So somebody who's trying to quit smoking, I've been smoking for 40 years. It's fine. My father smoked. He lived till 80, and just stories. Just stop. You can be reprogrammed. You can reprogram your subconscious mind at any age. It's never too late. There's nothing over ingrained that you can't deal with. So I've not met anything yet that hasn't been able to be replaced with a more positive belief, a reaffirming belief. So it's never, ever too late, and everybody can reprogram their subconscious mind to achieve anything they want if they just commit to the process.
Even I did it, and I don't mean that coy. I'm not knocking myself, but look at David. He's about to explode. And you go ahead and cheer. It's fine. He's like absolutely daggum straight, because it's not easy. But when it comes to the question of easy, I'm going to go off a little bit. That's the thing. I used to value comfort and ease, and nobody that did anything special did it by comfort and ease. That wasn't the focus, right? And that's the problem. A lot of us say, well, I would love to do that, but that's hard. Be happy it's hard, because if it was easy, there'd be a line down the street, and then it wouldn't be profitable, or it wouldn't be fulfilling. And so I'm not saying that as preachy. I'm just saying, at 44 years old, to wake up and go, listen, I got to make a change, right? And then use, what about the motivators? Sometimes people say, well, you should be motivated intrinsically. I didn't find that to be the case. It turned into doing it for me, but it started for my kids. I didn't want to pass on generational baggage or bad health habits or mental, baggage with them. And then it turned into, you know what? I'm doing this for me too. Have you noticed that? Like, sometimes you have to have an external motivator, right? Maybe your wife, you want to make her go, oh, look at you like you did in college. Do you disagree or agree? Because you guys have been here and you teach this. In other words, swim upstream. If I don't have the confidence to do it for me, find another reason to do it. Because just do it, right? What do y'all think? When it comes to motivation and inspiration? Look, David's about to pop. We got to go. Right?
Everybody's different on motivation. Like Curtis said, it's a mindset, and you got to want to do it. It's not what we can do, it's what we will do. And that's the difference. One of the things I use as a motivator, some people find it funny, some people find it offensive, but usually it's a wife that has a husband that's overweight and she wants him to lose the weight, get healthier. And I just ask, well, do you have life insurance? And she'll most of us said, yeah. Well, have him take out an extra $1 million policy. Well, why? Well, that way you can enjoy the money with the next guy when he's gone.
I'm in finance. I'm actually going to use that. Yeah. Like,
so, for me, it was having the word fatal, heart attack, that got me motivated. And like I said, I was fortunate. I met my high school, classmates at our 50th reunion, and they're talking about their heart attacks, their strokes, their open heart surgery, their knee replacement, hip replacements, all their cancers, and they're wearing it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And I come bebopping in, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I changed my lifestyle. That's what it was. I changed my attitude.
It sounds cliche, but it is. And by the way, we're not going to dive into it, but I want to make sure I appreciate you all, because when you go to the farms and the tobacco farms, you don't talk about your feelings. You suck it up. You're a tough guy, right? You have a beer at the end of the day. And sometimes, we carry that forward. And that don't mean you have to. Just because you live that lifestyle, you can redefine success. You can redefine happiness, man, how you view manhood, fatherhood, child. And that's where the real power lies. It's just you making a decision for you, and that, again, corny, I don't care. Everything changed. I said, I'm going to do this because I want to. What was the guy that climbed Everest for the first time? I forgot his. They said, why did you
Hillary,
do it?
wasn't it?
Yeah. Was it him that said, why did you climb it? And he said, because it's there.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just do it because I met a guy the other day. He was killing it. I mean, he don't need anything at all. I mean, multi-millions. I said, why are you doing that? He said, what I do. Hey, enough said. I'm like, there you go. Like, you're already a world nationally acclaimed everything. He's like, that's not what I do it for. And that's why I like you guys, right? Even when you break world record, you don't hear Curtis talk about that. I mean, it's good that he knows what he's talking about. He's got a resume. You do too. But it's all about the person, because you guys know you've been here. And it's a daggum shame when someone has potential to make an impact and they can't and they won't, because they don't. And this is the thing. You guys are guides. You don't do the work for them, but don't think it's easy to go out there and do it yourself. Michael Phelps didn't win a gazillion gold medals doing it by himself, okay? He had professional coaches and he upgraded. And I would not recommend any of y'all, especially if you're city folk and you don't hike, don't go on the Appalachian Trail without preparing. You're going to get eaten by a bear. You're not going to make it back. So I just want the mindset of why we do these shows to pass on this knowledge, right? And if folks want to take a deeper dive, well, then they can. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I can't even talk. All right, so Curtis, let me ask you.
Yeah.
So I asked David let me see. I'm going to ask a good one. Curtis, this time of year triggers old emotions for a lot of people. We're already busy. We have families, right? We're running businesses, or we're professionals. And, we face everything, like pressure, loneliness, burnout, having to go to family that we don't want to see. I've been through that. So how can we recognize, when they're carrying the heavy backpack you're always talking about? Is it awareness that really is the beginning point of change?
Yeah, it's awareness. It's just being honest with yourself and admitting it, spotting the signs, which loads of people listening will have either experienced or know somebody who has, which is they dread the season. Or they'll say, I don't do Thanksgiving. It's not for me. I don't do that anymore. I'm not into that, but I can't wait for this to be over. Oh, Christmas. I can't. It's all commercialized now. It's not what it used to be. I'll be glad when it's over. Can't wait till the new year. And it's like, okay, there's something going on there. There's a bit of denial. There'll be reasons for that. We're not here to judge, but there'll be some reasons behind that. And that'll be going into the past, those old stories again. And those are telltale signs of this backpack that we're carrying rocks, the old stories, the old limiting beliefs. It can be the scarcity mindset. Oh, Christmas is so expensive, or there's usually family feuds, squabbling siblings, sibling rivalry, so many different, facets to it. But it's owning up and facing it head on that there is a problem with it. Why am I dreading? And basically, how can I make this a fun time that it's meant to be, or that it used to be? Because all of those things just mentioned, or most of them, are in the past. They're things that happened. They've been and gone. They're not here now. And the financial worries, oh, can I afford it? Am I over borrowing? Am I this? Will I get through next year? January is going to be that's the future. That hasn't happened yet. What about just for once enjoying the moment and try and make this the season to just take a breath, literally, and several times a day, just stop, take a really deep breath in, look around and think, one day I'm going to look back at this time, maybe the squabbling siblings or the parents or the annoying grandchildren, wherever it is. I will look back and miss this one day when they're not here, and just savor it and just enjoy it for what it is, make the most of it. And that's a good attitude, that kind of attitude of gratitude, just to have in your daily life, but especially at these key moments.
Okay, I'm a spoiler alert. We did videos on this, right? It's the high achiever, right? A lot of people watch this show and the Hounds and whatnot. They're high achievers. So when they go to Thanksgiving, it's got to be perfect. They want their guests to feel good. It's all well intentioned. But I don't remember any holiday dish I ever had. I don't. I can't tell you. I could probably guess turkey on Thanksgiving. That's about it. But I do remember my mom made pancakes. I don't know how she did it, but they turned into frisbees. So we played frisbee all day, like just outside in the house. And she was mortified, like, oh, how could I ruin the breakfast? I'm still talking about it. It was like 25 years ago. So, there's something to be said for the mindset. You may be, focused on the perfection, but what about the memories? You can look at it you can enjoy yourself. You don't have to be rigid, right? You just say, hey, forget it, right? I'm here for the people. Colleen was talking about that. She said, look, I was trying to do it all myself because that's what I thought I had to do, probably some childhood stuff or whatnot. And she's like, you know what? I ended up hiring cleaners to go clean the Airbnb houses, and I cleaned my own house. See, solution based, right? So great answer. And let's go, David. 2 or 3 biggest mistakes that busy professionals are making during the holidays that sabotage their health and energy. And I know one of them, right? All the temptations of going to the host house and they're shoving food in your face and everybody's eating giant plates of, and you're just going, and you don't want to be rude. So fill us in. What are 2 or 3 major things that most people face, and how can they gracefully stay in control and then be polite about it?
Or just when you go in and someone's gone through the expense and the effort to prepare a holiday meal for you, just explain to them, I'm on a restricted diet. They don't need to know why. And, I appreciate you going through the time and effort. However, I'm not allowed to partake. Or if I do, I'm only allowed to have a little bit. So with Thanksgiving coming up, I do enjoy a piece of pumpkin pie or pecan pie. However, I have a small sliver instead of a big slice. And when I say sliver, I'm talking 2 fingers together, and that way I get to enjoy it. I eat slow and get to participate in it. And I don't beat myself up for not being perfect. It's a mindset. You want to be positive about it. And that's where a lot of the professionals or people during holiday get sucked into the trap. They feel like, oh, I had a piece of cake or a piece of pie. I ate too much. I'll wait till January to start over again. No, just start the next day. Enjoy it. Don't beat yourself up. Be positive, and go forward. The other thing is, saying no, thank you, and just being honest with people, and I'm sure they would appreciate that. You're making an effort too for health reasons, and anytime I've gone somewhere, I've never had that problem. I've always said I'm on a restricted diet. They don't know why, and I'll partake, eat what I want and enjoy it. The other thing is alcohol is a big thing during the holidays. So what I do is I'll grab a glass of wine, walk around like I'm drinking it, and at the end of the night, put the glass of wine down so people think I was drinking when I really wasn't.
Wait. Hey, so if you ever have David at your holiday party and your plants die, your plants are dead next week. Yeah. All right, David, you got to find a new tactic, man. You better go flush that wild
I
boy.
don't pour it out. I just walk around with a full glass.
I'm pretty sure that's an Adam Sandler movie. Yeah, okay. But don't see, nobody's going to have you over, David. Keep going.
No, that's it. Just enjoy the holidays. Just, eat small portions, eat slower, and don't beat yourself up if you do overindulge and you do enjoy.
Yeah, and that's the beauty. Let me jump into this because yours life 42, right? 6 weeks. It accounts for messing up, right?
Right.
It's not perfection. You don't have to go all the way to week 5, mess up, and then either lie or do it again. That's why probably 90% of these programs or most of them have a 90% fail rate. And you sincerely, I remember you called me last year. You're like, "Hey, I'm working on something." And I'm like, "Man, it's Christmas time. What are you doing?" And you're like, "Hey, I want to put a program that will actually empower people to take it off, leave it off, and not drive themselves insane." I said, "Well, that sounds remarkable." And then in the wintertime this year, we all tested it, right? All the hounds, a big number of us got together. And you remember that? Hey, folks in the comments, go ahead and laugh at this. Because I said, well, two things will happen. We'll all do this program, it'll work, and we'll go share it, right? Because that's what we want other people to do it. Or it doesn't work, and well, it was nice knowing you, I guess. And David's like, go for it, because I know it works, right? And I love that. So let's go to
Well,
Curtis.
the best thing about it, Mike, is when the hounds were going through it, I asked for suggestions to improve it and make it better. And there were some people, April, Wyatt, and Michelle gave me great suggestions and ideas to improve the program, make it easier for everybody so that there is a 90% success rate.
And then me over here, like the little engine who could, he's back. Hey, how are you doing, Mike? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And you were funny because David said, well, Mike, you got a couple cheat days. I was like, I already messed them up. The whole week I didn't used all my cheat days and my oops days up, man. Dadgummit. But I kept going. And that's what I think of. There was no pressure, shame, guilt. It was just encouragement. You said a couple of short, pithy sayings, ask a good question. And I just kept doing it. Right. And that's the fun part. But if somebody really has some serious like things to work out, that's when we call in Curtis because because that could actually make you feel worse if you just keep on and on and on because we got more than the surface level. And that's why I like putting cookies and milk together, right? You guys complement each other very well. Same mindset, same mentality, same inspiring story, just in different wheelhouse, right? And so let's go to it. David, real quick, because you built this around 7 simple tasks, right?
Correct.
Which one would you tell every entrepreneur to start with if they feel overwhelmed, especially right now during the holidays?
The best one I recommend is the one little affirmation you have to do that starts with everything I eat and drink heals and nourishes my body, which helps me achieve and maintain excellent health. Just say that a couple times a day or once a day, and that's a good place to start.
And that's not a woo-woo, oh, just say stuff in the universe. That's programming your mind because your mind's saying, oh, you're fat, you're not, give up, blah, blah, blah. And you have to counter. It's like throwing water on fire. That's what you're doing. You're saying, hey,
just making a positive affirmation.
That's it. You're just going to, hey, that's the way I want to be. Because if Curtis, I mean, how many stuntmen or yourself do such daring stunts and while they're doing it, say, I can't do this. That's not like, can you imagine Michael Jordan about to score 50 points going, I hope I can do this? No, I'm going to do this. So mindset isn't a woo-woo thing. It changed my life. I mean, it really did. And let me ask you guys before I move on. The mantra for a lot of people, and we might not admit it, and I don't blame you, but well, if I produce and make money or have a successful business or do all these things, that makes me valuable. That makes me worthy. When in reality, like, once you go through all this crap like we're talking about, then you realize, no, I am special. I am valuable. That's why I create things. That's why I produce good things. It's the horse before the cart, right?
Yeah, I think that was definitely the case for me in a strange way. Not enoughness or a feeling of a lack of self-worth can actually be a catalyst sometimes. And in my own case, it was my father saying that I wouldn't amount to anything. That I was my dreams of becoming a stuntman were just pipe dreams. Why would you throw away? You've done okay at school now. You could get a good job as a factor. You may, if you really, put your nose to the grindstone, you may even be able to make manager in 4 years at the local chemical works, ICI. And he meant it. And no, I don't want to do that, Dad. I want to, honestly, I want to do stunts. I can, grow up, son, And when he was drinking, he was a big drinker. He would get angry and say, "You'll never amount to anything." And he was kind of embarrassed. And I didn't like it at the time, but it was his voice that I would hear on those mornings where I got up after I'd maybe lost a judo contest and it was knocking me back 3 months, getting promoted to my next belt. Used to have to win 3 fights at a grading, and maybe I'd won 2 and lost 1. And I'd get up feeling sorry for myself and think maybe judo's not for me. In fact, maybe this whole stunt games, maybe I'll just stick with the acting and not do those moments of self-doubt. I'd hear my dad, "You never amount to anything." And I'd think, "No, really?" And I'd be straight down the dojo, training harder, putting the hours in, and make sure I'd wipe the floor literally with the next 3 opponents at the next grading. So it can be a driving factor to kind of, but then the long-term effect of that is beyond the world records. People, into my 30s were saying, "What are you trying to prove? What's next?" I was planning all these really extreme stunts and more world records. And I wrote 1 book. I wanted to write another one. And there was a realization. I was actually the little boy trying to impress his father and just wanted to be told I was loved on a certain level, as soppy as that is. And then you kind of deal with that and, process it, and made peace with my dad. He's still alive. Made peace with him. We're friends now. He is what he is. Can't change him. And he loves me in his own way, in the way his generation did, And you just, make your own lessons from that. These challenges are sent to build us and make us bigger and stronger and better and brighter. And so the lessons for that were to tell my kids I love them every day, and to hug them and hold them, and and embarrass my son into adulthood. Right. Come here, give us a hug. Love, Dad. Get her. Love you. And just so you dog poop to fertilizer, or lemons to lemonade. You're just turning something terrible and making the best of it, So it's, from limiting beliefs, just turn them, reframe them into your strengths.
I appreciate you sharing that. It reminded me, I remember how long ago, Little Richard, remember Tutti Frutti? Woo! He's had the same story. He would be in there singing. His dad will bust in and be like, hey, knock it off. He hated it. He hated what he was doing. He thought he was a weirdo. And he took his piano away and everything. And, look, everybody knows him. You could be 20 and you've heard of him, right? And so, but I love what you said. You said, what are you trying to prove? Who are you trying to prove things to? And then we're not over here wallowing in our pity. We're over here sharing things because we know folks are dealing with it. And I pushed it down and tried to act tough and all this stuff, but I was. And now today, because of internal, external healing, I'm not perfect, but it's a choice. And now I just do things because I want to help people, because because it's a want to. It's not I got to prove my worth. That's why I became a fireman, Curtis. I thought I was going to go help people. I wanted to be somebody and didn't have an identity. I wasn't raised. I was grown like cabbage for the most part. So, there's a difference, right? Some people are raised. I was grown. And so we say that because if folks like us can do this, then you can. You just have to just man or woman up and just make a determination to do it. And the holidays could not, I used to think, oh gosh, it was just a dreaded season and I had to do things I didn't want to do. Now I'm thinking about going to Dollywood. I'm like, well, we'll just go see the family a couple of weeks beforehand and we'll just pack up and do whatever we want to do. And that's not against anyone. It's because I want to live. And if I'm going to be happy doing that, my people in my house, I'm going to go do that. Right? Look, David's like, there you go. Do what you want to do. Right. And I still account for other people's feelings, but I don't put me secondary. And that only comes, David, if you agree with true healing, with just defining, hey, just because everybody's telling me to do this or I did it in childhood, I can change it. And doing it for you. Well, maybe you do it for your kids, but then it shifts into doing it for you. Because once you're good, everybody else is good. right? Once I'm happy, once I'm charged up and I don't feel like garbage, I can perform as a better leader. I can do better work for my clients, right? These kind of things. So thank you for being open about that, man, because very few people are. But I'm seeing because of men like you and people like in the hounds, people are starting to go, well, if they can say it. Yeah, if a special forces guy can talk about how he cries over stuff that's worth, you don't cry over spilled milk, but like it's okay to cry if something bad happens, and we got to stop this nonsense. That's, you know, and I love this because we're just sharing. We're not tooting our own horn. We're just saying, hey, it's okay to be you. It's okay to be human. It's okay to mess up. Right. In fact, people are going to read your book. You got to pull the book up, David. People are going to read your book because of your crap, right, that you overcome. So tell us about that real quick, my friend.
Oh, this is a fiction book. It has a lot of parables and short stories in the story. It's about Michael Caldwell, who's successful in every way except it's all a facade. And he goes on a journey when he has a health crisis and meets several fictional or actual real characters. Um, he meets Gandhi, he meets Anne Frank, Jack LaLanne, Paul Bragg, uh, various other people in the health industry. One of them is Jim Fix. Jim Fix was a marathon runner, died at age 52 while jogging. He meets Jerome Rodeo. He's the founder of Prevention Magazine, who was on the Dick Cavett show in the 70s. He was 72 at the time, bragging how he was going to live to be 100, and actually died of a heart attack on my TV on the set.
Oh, nice.
So the main character, Michael Caldwell, is saying, well, why should I listen to you two guys? You both died young. And they're like, because we want to teach you a lesson of how you can learn from our mistakes and what we did wrong.
Okay, don't tell us the whole book. We got to
Oh
go
no,
on.
that's that's But anyways, you said something about wanting to live, and I have a little phrase. Do you want to be a participator in life, or you want to be a spectator in life? Do you want to be able to do things, get on the ground with your kids or grandkids and play with them, or are you going to watch from a park bench? So, things like that. And also, I have a little saying here: health doesn't come from what others tell you; it comes from what you finally decide to tell yourself. And it doesn't matter what anybody else is saying; it's what you want to tell yourself and what you want to do. That's the most important thing. So,
Okay, real quick, two questions. Did you get inspiration for the title?
I did from Curtis.
Hey, check that out. I had to because I didn't even know that. You said that. I was like, really? Man. Because I don't monitor the hounds conversations.
Curtis and I had a conversation, and he was telling me about his book and how his publisher changed the title, and he told me what his title was, and I said I like that, so I used it.
Yeah, bravo. And by the way, Curtis, chime in on this. David, you said something classic. I love it. Spectator, right? Versus what was it?
Participator.
Okay. Yes, it's way easier, more comfortable, and wonderful if you want safety as a spectator. Participant, you're going to get scarred up, beat up. It's going to be tough, but that's living, right? I think Jim Rome made a whole thing about. I heard it a while back, and he's like, we can put you in a little bubble and keep you safe, feed you. You'll live to be 100. And they said that sounds awful. Right, it is awful. Or you can go live, right, and go do and go through the crap. And but it's how you manage it. And this is why I want to. That's why I appreciate you guys being here, because I didn't do this alone. I didn't do it by just reading a book. I did it because I had real people like you folks in here saying, "Hey, let me use my expertise to guide you. All right, let me help you." Right? I don't know if I'm full of garbage or not. Right? I don't know, but Curtis will, and he'll help me figure that out. Right? Or I can read a million health books and be unhealthy and go down a spiral, or I can just talk to David. And by the way, you have a community, so and this you got to be taking losses. Okay, folks, this is not a marketing ploy. I'm trying to convince him to add zeros to this thing. So he's got a $10 community book program, the whole 9 yards. Tell us about it, because I finally convinced you to up it a little bit, even though it's still goofy. But tell us about your community and how folks can tap into this.
Yeah, it's the Life 42 Health Reset community, and you get individual coaching with me. You get a copy of my book, Jaded Health, until the new book, A Path Forward, comes out. You get a daily tracker just to keep track of the 7 tasks you do each day. You don't have to write down everything you did. Either you did it or you didn't. There's 5 days of grace in there. You get a weekly newsletter, and on the platform where the community is, I do a post maybe 4 or 5 times a week with information that people find of value, and that's the biggest thing for me is that people are telling me they're finding value in what I'm putting in the newsletter and the post. They're also getting results and they're enjoying it. And sometimes I have to reach out to the members, say, hey, how you doing? I haven't heard from you. And they're like, I'm down 10 pounds, 15, 20 pounds, or I'm enjoying this. This is working great. Thank you. So again, there's not one size that fits all. And I go to where you're at and meet you halfway so that you can be successful, develop habits that work for you and that you enjoy. That way you'll do them. So if you don't like Brussels sprouts or you don't like kale, you don't have to eat it. I don't tell you have to do certain things other than avoid the soda and diet sodas and fruit flavored beverages. And you can have a little bit of alcohol. I don't say you have to give it up completely. It's just, whatever is going to make it easy for you to succeed. And again, you don't have to be perfect. Just be consistent.
That well said. I mean, it's simple, and you're fun too. You're kind of even kill guy, right? You don't get too excited, but you're kind of funny, man. I'm looking at your post, going, you have your humor comes out in the community in your articles, right? So it's really fun. Like I never go, oh, another preaching sermon about health. It's always something unique, and it's almost like watching the comics with a point. Like the newspaper comics, but you actually learn something. And
There's no judgment there either. You're not going to be made to feel bad or that you're not doing as much as you can. It's all about encouraging and empowering and giving you information and support to keep you motivated and keep you accountable. That's the biggest thing. I help people be accountable in a nice way.
right, in a very nice way. You're a nice guy. We won't dispute that. All right. So let me ask you this, Curtis. And I'm going a little bit off, but this is a deep topic, and I know I hear people talk about this, right? I see people suppressing this. So if you may, and take your time with it, you overcame depression and burnout while still performing at world class levels, right? So, and I know because when I got depressed, I didn't want to do anything but lay in the bed, right? So, how can people tell when they're chasing the wrong goals for the wrong reasons?
Well, it's down to, I alluded to it earlier. I'd achieved a lot with a specific mindset. I knew all the mindset hacks, and I still use them. Don't get me wrong. Really, really powerful because it starts in the mind. It's then, and the key part is what's felt in the heart, and that energy in the heart that then comes from the solar plexus and becomes action. So, in layman's terms, you have a thought about a certain thing, you feel about it a certain way, and that controls the actions you take. If they're out of kilter, the wrong thoughts, the limiting beliefs, and your heart, which is like a meter, is saying, whoa, this isn't right, and it's off, but you're too in your head to accept it. You override it. It's particularly common in men, or it's a masculine energy, but women have that too. We all have a sacred feminine, a sacred masculine, and if they're out of balance, so typically in business, that's a very masculine energy for business women as well, to be very in the head, analytical, processing their thoughts. And when you disengage with the heart like that, that's a slippery slope. So with the whole mental health thing, is the key is to acknowledge that heart. The early signs are a feeling, not a thought. I'm fed up. What's the point? All those are thoughts. But it's the feelings that they bring in, the heaviness. We've all heard of a heavy heart, and it's an actual heaviness, and like a pressure in the chest, and that's the time to take notice of it. And it's affecting every action you do, or lack of action, inaction, by just wanting to curl up and not get out of bed. And I've been there, and it's a downward spiral, and you've got to break that pattern. And most people think, okay, well, I'll just start changing the way I think. And it's a good start. But unless you monitor that with the heart, then it'll amount to nothing because you'll just be in your head going around in circles and keep getting up feeling fed up. So to break that cycle, it's to work in those three things: mindset. David's already mentioned affirmations, and you're quite right. It's not woo. That the subconscious mind is listening all the time, and through repetition, daily repetition, saying these things with a positive spin, said in a positive way. You know, so you wouldn't say, "I'm not fed up today." You'd say, "I'm happy today. Today is a wonderful day." And positive affirmations said every day is soaked up like a sponge, which then starts to, and you'll know that's working because we're monitoring the heart center. You start to feel a bit better about that. And with what I found, and I've subsequently proved with different clients, is that it's impossible to go from depressed to joyous. Anybody who tells you can do that, oh, they were depressed, I gave them these little things to do, and they were in joy straight away. Like, no. If you're suicidal, then if you make a shift to feeling a bit depressed, you've made a massive positive shift. Your whole frequency has gone up in vibration. It's a positive step because you've gone from wanting to end it to just feeling depressed. And to go from depressed to feeling fed up, great. That's actually a good thing. It's not as bad. It's slightly high. So it's baby steps.
So it's scalable.
Just like the spectrum of color, the spectrum of sound. It's everything is vibration and frequency. So are emotions. And with that, we just oscillate at a higher rate of vibration to feel happier and happier and happier. Just baby steps, so that you're just a bit flat. And then things will make you laugh a little bit. And you just build it slowly. And it can take a couple of months, but as long as it's going in the right direction. Mindset, heart set, and aligned actions. And that's the way out.
Well, my daughter laughed at me a couple of years ago because I sit around all day long, very sedentary lifestyle. And so I got up and it was more like a silver sneaker style. Like I did like 2 body squats and like a half a push up and I was done. And she, what was that? I said baby steps because I used to go in and go crazy, like Hulk, just crazy. And then I couldn't move for a week and I wouldn't do anything. And I was like, the fact that I even took the time to grab the weight band and do that. That's it. And then it's funny because I hate to travel, right? And I got to travel. I'm proud to go to Podfest, and we got Hounds going with us, and it's an honor to speak. But I hate travel. And people say, you don't have a passport? You don't need a passport to go to the daggum gas station once a month, folks. All right. And I work virtually. But I said, where's this thing going to be? Well, the one's in Florida. But I have another event in LA. Yeah, it's going to look like Crocodile Dundee me going to LA in New York City. And I said, I'm just intimidated by the city and all the culture and everything else. But and here's why you guys impacted me, because I said, well, I can either go kicking and screaming, or I can just say, wow, this is an adventure. This is stretching out my resilience and I'm growing and I'll have stories from this. So either way, it's going to happen. You're either going to make life happen or it's going to happen to you. I mean, that's what the kind of overarching theme. And yeah, it's hard. It stinks. But you know what? There's light in the tunnel as well as out of it. Right, guys?
Yeah, it's not a freight train coming at you.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Oh, man. Going inside and digging all that stuff out. Who wants to do that? But you need to, because when you push it down, it pops up like whack-a-mole. It never goes away. You got to face it head on, right?
Yeah,
and that's what we're talking
You're going to love it, Mike. You're going to love, and every one of those trips you spoke about is going to make you grow. You'll have the stories, you'll have the pictures for the posts, but more when you're alone at night pondering, you'll be doing so as a bigger, brighter version of yourself. Because every time you travel and experience and you push yourself out your comfort zone, then you grow, don't you? And going back to what you were speaking about earlier, it is hard. Like motivation. Oh, if I'm asking a client to do a certain thing on a morning, say, oh, I haven't got time for that. Well, no, I'm not asking you to get any less sleep. Just go to bed 10 minutes earlier and get up 10 minutes earlier. It's the same sleep. And I've had clients say, like, literally, this sucks. I'm not a morning person. I don't want to get up 15 minutes earlier. And I've said, well, what makes you think change is meant to be enjoyable? Is it meant to be enjoyable change? And they're like, oh, because you can keep doing exactly what you've been doing, and nothing will change. But you've come to me to effect this great change in your life and move from stuck and confused and in a place of sorrow to experience freedom and growth and joy and live an aligned life. And the cost of that is doing something a little bit uncomfortable. Set your alarm clock 10 minutes earlier, do these affirmations, do these exercises, answer these questions, do these things. And just by repetition, it'll become easier. Like you said, with your baby steps, if you somehow put a heavy weight on your chest and manage to do 20 crunches, and you wouldn't be able to get out of bed the next day.
No.
But no weights, just a couple of crunches, and just build up to it and slowly add to it. Same with any kind of form of exercise or diet, as David will attest to. Baby steps. But drop this myth that everything's meant to be enjoyable. I think that's the thing of today. There's an assumption that everything has to be fun, or don't do it. But sometimes we've got to get out of our comfort zone.
You hit the nail on the head. And this is why it's important. If you're struggling and you keep struggling alone, have a conversation. These guys aren't going to try to sell you anything, right? They're just going to inform you. And when this time is right, go have a chat. And if they can help you, absolutely. Right. Because I was the same way. It was like, oh, well, that seems hard. That's the point. And so I did the hard work. I got sore. I did the things I don't want to do. And I felt proud, man. I was like, wow, because that's what winners do, right? You don't become a national champion boxer by comfort or, I don't enjoy that. Well, nobody gets enjoy getting punched in the face. But we enjoy.
Mike Tyson had a saying. They asked him about training. He says, do what you hate as if you love it.
Yeah. And exactly. I went outside and worked out, and my wife said, it's raining. That's why I'm going out there, because I don't want to go out, especially in the rain. It looks stupid. And, but, oh, you want to hear this? Everybody laugh at it. It's funny. My daughters were complaining because I kept the heat up, right? Because the window's open. It got hot. They said, Daddy, we want air. We want air. Turn the air on. And I said, you don't need air. You're going to build resilience. Dad, we don't want resilience. We want air conditioning. Did you pay the bill? Like, what's going on? I was like, and every now and then I do. I love them. I kind of spoil them a little bit more than I should, because, the way I grew up. But every now and then they'll just get to where I'm like, all right, push-ups in the yard, like every 3 months. Like, you guys are soft. No. Like, well, I don't like that. I said, look, I told my daughter, I said, if I took your attitude toward homework, y'all be homeless. You understand that, right? Like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Right. And now they see that example. And that's why I wanted to change it, because I can't pass on what I don't know. And so, again, if you don't do it for yourself, do it for some other reason, but just do it. Right. And that's the whole calling card. So let's wrap up with this question, folks. Someone's watching this feeling exhausted, frustrated, stuck, down on themselves, whatever. Right. And they're holding it in, like we all done before. And we still do some from time to time, probably. What would each of you, all right, David, we'll start with you. What would you say to them as a first step to get a healthier chapter started right now? Don't wait till January.
Start now.
Daggum straight.
I mean, we all have our reasons that we procrastinate. I'll wait till Monday. I'll wait till after the holidays. I'll wait till after, the weekend. I'll wait till after we go out to our favorite restaurant with our friends. There's always an excuse, and there's no perfect time to start. If that's the way it is, to start now. Again, if we put off till tomorrow what we can do today, and tomorrow never comes, we'll never do what we need to do to get it done.
Yeah, I see what you did with Abraham Lincoln, and you made it, Jaded Health. That was very clever. He's a clever guy, isn't he? But we all know who the book title expertise right here is. All right, Curtis, same question to you, big dog. Someone's watching, they're feeling down on themselves, stuck, whatever. That baby step, that first thing into a happier, healthier mindset. What would you say to them?
I think literally just the acceptance that they have a problem. It's like, an alcoholic, their first step towards becoming sober is acknowledging they have a problem. Yeah. And it comes to others sooner than some people. They hold on for that for years. It's that acknowledgement to tune into your heart and just be honest with yourself and say that I'm not happy. Like I did on the film set, surrounded by all this stuff that should have made me happy, according to everyone else, the posh cars, mixing with famous people and the wonderful sets in the studios. But it wasn't me. and it wasn't aligned with the real me. And I was just doing it for the money. And it's very difficult to turn your back on something that provides that living. But it began by just the acknowledgement, like, I can't do this anymore. This isn't me. This isn't real. So the holiday season coming up, something feels off. Don't put a plaster on it, a Band-Aid. Don't look and think, I'll just be glad when this is over. Just like a little deep dive and acknowledge that there's a problem and be prepared to dig deep and fix it.
See, that spoken by somebody who's done it, man. Absolutely. That takes such strength. People underestimate this. They're like, oh no, just you saying, I'm not happy. Something's wrong. I need to make a change. Man, just that's probably at least 50% of the battle, David, right? I mean, it takes a lot of courage to say something ain't right, and then when you're like me, you're really shocked when you're like, it's me. It's not him. It's not her. It's not my family. It's not whatever. Yeah. Listen, bad stuff happens. But at the end of the day, like Goggins says, ain't nobody coming to save you. But you don't need them to save you. Could do it your dadgum self. And that's just the most freeing thing I ever experienced. I wouldn't believe it. If I heard me say this, I'd kick my own butt back in the day because I wouldn't believe it. But that's why we're talking about this, because it's got to stop. People take drastic measures. People harm themselves by pushing this stuff down. And this is why we have people support like you and David. We have slews of people all around. Don't do this alone, folks. Don't. You are somebody. You have something special to offer. You just need help figuring it out and dusting all that garbage off, man. That's why David's so good. You'll never be shamed by these guys. They've already been in there. They've messed up, right? When your doctor says you're too fat, you're not listening, get out. I mean, come on. What can you say to David? It's, he's not going to shame you. He's going to help you figure it out. Same thing with Curtis, right? You're having conflict, you're going through life changes, maybe just internal, maybe divorce in your later years. Maybe you're trying to start a business. Maybe it ain't going the way you thought it would. That's why we reach out and have you guys up here. Reach out to these folks. And Curtis, tell them where to go. It's on the screen, but is that the best place for folks to go find resources without even talking to you? Because a lot of folks won't. They want to go check it out on their own. You're on LinkedIn. So where's the best place for them to go?
For resources, probably curtisriverscoaching.com. There's various tools on there, like the alignment compass is a good point. If you've had that feeling of, okay, something's wrong, I need to make a change, then first port of call, if you like, would be the alignment compass. You can also get that at alignmentcompass.com. It's a free tool that I give away to start that journey, or to learn a little bit more, curtisrivers.com. All of those good places to start.
Absolutely. And by the way, we'll ask David the same thing. Both of you guys have helped me tremendously. So, and you know me, I just shout it out there. It's not the only option, but if people said, hey, who can help me in this arena? You guys, hands down. All right. Trustworthy. You educate, you don't push. You couldn't ask for more, man. The only thing you don't do is my dishes. I'm okay with that. And Yolanda, you're funny. She said Crocodile Dundee needs a passport. I can get the real ID. I am scheduled to go out and get one. Passport means I'm going to leave the country. Baby steps. All right. If I go to LA, anything's possible. Let's start there. And even going to Orlando is a big deal to me. But again, it can be laughable to some people. I don't mind saying that. Everybody's got something, right? And the more we're open about it, we talk about it, we help each other out. If I would have kept all this a secret, Curtis would never be able to share his expertise, and I would never learn. I had to be brave enough, courageous enough, or just tired enough to say, I need someone to hear me. And maybe you can't tell your spouse or your friend. Maybe they're not equipped for that. That's why we have other folks. Maybe they're just not, that's not what they do. They can encourage you, but they can't guide you. And that's why you guys are my pick. So thank you. And by the way, before we end, your turn, David. Where can folks find you? How do they get into this ridiculously low community and really start to make a difference? And how can they send other people here? Because that'll make them look good when they send. I send people to you, and they're like, "Yay!" I'm like, "Well, I want to send more now." I mean, so
yeah, they can go to the Life 42hrc.com, and also they can get a free PDF of the 9 simple golden rules for living a healthy, vibrant life. I give that away for people. And the biggest thing is never be ashamed to ask for help. And that was a big lesson I had to learn, is I had to ask for help. And And that's what got me through a lot of things by not doing it myself. There were other people along the way that helped me. And that's why I want to help other people.
Wow, you set me up. I'm gonna knock it out. Hey, don't do it alone, folks. You heard it. Uh, Life's too short. You have too much to give, and man, the only thing you can't give back is time. That's the one variable we can't. It is what it is. So if you're out there trying to figure this out, you're trying to even find where you're supposed to be. Maybe you're pivoting. Maybe you're expanding. No strays out there. Hounds of business, daggum straight. We got a group call. Find me on LinkedIn, Redneck One. You can go to YouTube. We got plenty of videos, not just me talking, all right? We got experts. We have other hounds that are putting their shows out. My New Year's goal, we're going to dominate the network space, man. Media network. When you have a steakhouse, who do you want to watch that? Hungry steak eaters, right? So that's what we got here. We want to bring things that matter to people, but bring yourself, right? You can come as you are. This ain't about being something you're not at the Hounds Business, guys. This is about becoming your best self. And when you got support like Curtis Rivers and David Manansky, I don't know. I mean, you got the tools. Now, all you got to do is make the steps. All right. That's what it is. We can lead the horse to water, but we can't drown him. Right. And so, yeah, I had to explain that to Curtis. Like, no, did he just mess up the euphemism? All right. Because you're UK, not because you're dumb. All right. He's good. Dude, you're a trooper. What's it, 1 o'clock, 1:11? And you don't even care.
Yeah, it's gone 1 a.m. here.
It is. Well, I'm gonna let y'all roll. I appreciate this. It's been a fun time. Thank you, folks, in the comments for putting in and staying with us and supporting these guys. Share it. And when you see these videos drop, man, repost them, share them with people, tag people that can benefit. We're not going to pounce on them. We're not going to DM them and bother them and go all goofy. We're just going to be here, share information. And if they ever go, hey, you know what? I need a guide. I need a friend. I need to talk to somebody. I want to look at it. We're here, but we're not going to dog catch you. All right. I know it's test me. We're bug zappers. You want to come play? We're here. You don't, go check our free stuff out, folks. So appreciate you, gentlemen. Have a great time. Enjoy the holidays, folks. And now you know how to even enjoy it even more. So thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you. And folks, until the end of the year, we're going to be putting out these shows. We're going to have experts in B2B, high performance tips. It's really going to be a fun time. So bring friends to the show, tap in and meet and network with some of the most heart-centered people ever, man. Is that a dog in the background?
It is. I got 3 dogs and my wife just pulled into the garage. So,
okay. Well, we are the Hounds. I really can't get mad at that. I mean, it would be very hypocritical, right, Curtis? All right. So we appreciate it. Thank you, Yolanda. You are amazing, my friend. She's an honorary hound. We got to go get her in the pack. She just sleeps outside. I don't know. But Yolanda, we appreciate you, my friend. And I'll get that passport after I go to LA. And believe me, I'll document it. It's going to be funny. All right. So everybody be good. We'll see you next week, folks. Stay tuned. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.